this is one of my favorite times in a project, when I put lacquer on a piece of beautiful wood and watch the colors and the grain patterns come bursting out of the wood. I'm going to do the back side first, and I'm going to make sure I get all the edges all the way around coated with the lacquer. I don't want to take any chances of any runs, so I'd rather put on 2 or 3 thin coats than to try to put one thick coat on. I spray from all sides. So just a light coat like that, and then we'll have to wait about 10 minutes for that to be ready to flip upside down. Then we'll do the other side. Now, one thing I should mention is that lacquer is not good for your health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the room, open it up, so everything can air out real well. Okay, so we've sprayed the first coat of lacquer on the back side, let it dry for a little while, flipped it over. Now I'm going to spray the first coat of lacquer on the front side, but it's very important as I'm spraying it to make sure I get down in all the grooves and to spray from all angles so all the vertical surfaces get coated evenly. And after we do this light coat, we'll have to let it dry completely and then sand off all the wood fibers that get raised by it. And then tomorrow we can put the final coat on. Alright, so that'll do it, and we'll just have to wait now. But look at that beautiful grain coming out in there. The first coat of lacquer's had 24 hours to dry now, so all I need to do is take some 220 sandpaper and very lightly go over the entire surface. So all we're going to do is knock out that little bit of roughness. We're not trying to take the lacquer off, only to sand down anything that feels rough. So just going to have to go over the entire surface, not much more than what I'm doing right now. And again, making sure that I always sand in the same direction as the grain is running. Okay, so now I have all this roughness sanded out of the carving. I'm just going to put a second coat of lacquer on. The second coat of lacquer has had plenty of time to dry now. The next step is to paint the tops of the graphic and the letters and the border. The paint that I'm going to use is this liquid leaf paint. This particular color, they call it brass. To me it looks like gold, and it works out very, very well. The other paint that I'm going to use for the letters is the same brand of paint, except in silver, to give a little bit of separation between the lettering and the graphic here. So what we're going to do, make sure it's completely shaken up. This paint needs to be very well shaken. And I'm going to take the paint and run it down this way, down this cross. And the important thing is to always let your brush hang off the outer edge of wherever you're going. When I get down here, I'll come this way. When I come over here, this way. You never want to jab in this way, and because you'll get it on the vertical surfaces of the carving and it just doesn't look good. So if you always keep your brush laying on top, that won't happen. Put enough paint on my brush, not too much, and then just run it down the edge there. A very large open area like this is very easy to do, but you don't want it to drip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish one area before I move on to the next one. So I turn my carving like this so I can always have my brush hanging off the edge. Usually one coat of paint is sufficient for this. So that's the easy part of it. Now I'm just going to go down along these edges and do them. Again, the same thing. I want to make sure that my brush is hanging off the edge. So I have to go around once, doing basically the inside of this rim, and then go around again after it's dried enough that I don't risk messing it up, and catch the outside edge. I'm actually going to have to wait a few minutes because I don't want to come over here because I might get my hands in the middle of it and make a mess. So I'm going to just put the top back on the paint and rinse my brush out. When using this liquid leaf paint, what I do is I knock out most of the paint out of my brush on a paper towel and then just rinse the binder resin out of the brush with a little bit of paint thinner. The gold paint has had a little bit of time to dry now, so I'm going to go over these letters with the silver paint. The last thing we have to do is to give it some way to hang. We're going to use a little piece of this chain and a couple of screw eyes just to make a little hanger up here on top of it. To do that, I'll stand it up here, take a drill to drill a pilot hole for the screw eyes. I'll screw in the screw eyes. Good. So now we use a pair of needle nose pliers to open one end of the chain. And squeeze it back together. And then estimate what would look pretty. Okay, I think that looks about right. So we'll squeeze that together. So here's a finished project. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. You've seen all the steps involved in making this carving, so have some fun and design and make one for yourself. If you'd like to make this carving, you could download the plan for it and other projects from our website at hiswordandwood.com. If there's anything I can do to assist you, please email me at the address shown below. Whether you'd like to talk about woodworking or just about life in general, please don't hesitate to contact me. Now, if you don't happen to have a bandsaw and oscillating spindle sander and router table in your shop, watch the final segment of this video and I'll show you how to make the same project with ordinary tools. So until next time, thanks for watching and may the Lord bless you.